Titanfall 2 is not a difficult game to run by any means, but running it at 1080p and respawns intended 60 FPS can be difficult for lower end graphics cards. The Radeon 7750, for instance, could simply not run this game at 1080p 30 FPS without a massive degrade in image quality. Any semblance of the console versions required running the game at 720p, especially for any chance of running 60 FPS. So what kind of difference does 300 G-flops, a newer architecture, and more memory bandwidth make? For starters, you need to ask yourself how important 60 FPS is to you. Titanfall 2 is specifically built for this experience in mind, with adaptive resolution capabilities like its console brethren if you choose to use them. Though I prefer to use a fixed resolution, as instant changes in resolution can be jarring to the experience. If 60 FPS is at the top of desired features for your Titanfall 2 experience, the RX 550 isn't going to deliver it without some graphical sacrifices. However, the RX 550 still puts out a much better show than its 7750. What the 7750 was comfortable with at 720p in a mixture of settings, the RX 550 easily managed at 1080p with ambient occlusion added to boot, though I did use trilinear texture filtering and no anti-aliasing. Some scenes still feel vaguely familiar in terms of performance feel. Note that this 7750 footage is pre-update without the VRAM texture issue fixed, hence shitty low-res textures. Both cards receive a geometrical pounding in this area, though the RX 550 is managing ambient occlusion and some more geometrical detail enabled, along with properly working textures, though that issue was not the 7750's fault in the first place. With the added graphical prowess the RX 550 brings to the table, you can create a very console-like experience, whether you use adaptive resolution or not. Lowering the resolution to 720p makes 60 FPS so much more easily achievable, and even 900p returns remarkably smooth gameplay, with many settings at medium depending on the scene. Every graphical option has its ups and downs in terms of time to render versus graphical splendor, so it's up to you to find that balance. I tend to favor geometrical complexity over some of the effects like sun shadows, where the low setting is good enough, while more polygonal complexity helps to smooth out level of detail transitions. The added graphical load of the high setting shadows I don't feel is worth the performance cost. Ambient occlusion, on the other hand, is worth it for fixing flat environment lighting and adding more scene depth, not to mention neither console version features it. The medium texture preset that allegedly requires 3GB runs fine on the 2GB the RX 550 comes equipped with, though it is possible you could see some textures fade in during gameplay. In concert, I think trilinear texture filtering is okay at 1080p, though 2x anisotropic filtering may be more desirable for a very slight performance hit. Titanfall 2 simply has great optimization on the PC. The ability to customize the visual experience is definitely to the RX 550's advantage over the base model console versions, though I'd expect the PS4 version to be a bit more polished. As a PC gamer, I would definitely choose the RX 550 experience over the Xbox One and PS4 because of that customization capability and of course mouse and keyboard controls. The ability to lock the render resolution is great when you see just how blurry the image can get with adaptive resolution on, but you may prefer it for the sake of maintaining frame rate. Without considering the PlayStation 4 Pro, the RX 550 can practically recreate the Titanfall 2 console experience if that's to your liking. It's not the most optimal solution for Titanfall 2 on PC, but if it's the best thing you can afford or if it's the best thing available, by all means it still provides a great experience as long as you don't push it too hard. So to answer the question I asked earlier about 300 G-flops making a difference, yes, it makes a huge difference. But it's not just about having 33% more G-flops, but also texturing and ROPS output, a major architectural revision, along with 50% more memory bandwidth and twice as much VRAM to boot. Those improvements definitely add up and seem to make a bigger impact in Titanfall 2 than they did in Grand Theft Auto 5. But admittedly, we were more CPU bound in GTA 5, as some busier scenes had the i3-2120 CPU pegged at full use with the RX 550 as low as 70% usage. Titanfall 2 is flipped around as a more GPU bound title. I'm not sure what will be next for RX 550 testing. I'm thinking Battlefield 1, though a proper test of that game will require my main rig, since Battlefield 1 hates dual-core processors, even hyper-threaded ones, and requires some thread hacking to get it to run properly. I'm also thinking The Witcher 3, Rise of the Tomb Raider, War Thunder, or even the older Battlefield 4 would make great candidates for my next video. Just let me know down in the comments down below what game you'd like to see tested next with the RX 550. And until then, I hope you guys have a good one. Thanks for watching.